All right, so we're back up here to get a little bit more work done on the Grand Prix. I brought the dash bar up here so we can try to focus on the steering column. I was thinking about using the Mustang column, but I think if we can get the Grand Prix one to work, it'll just be a lot easier. So we're gonna have to take the airbox part or the heater box part off of this dash, but that won't be a big deal. Yeah, you would think I'd use my truck to do this. Oh, there we go. Basically, because of where we put the firewall up to, this is going to get right in the way. And obviously, since we cut so much out, this isn't going to work at all, which is perfectly fine. And then we also got to get the airbag off. We're going to go ahead and do this the same way that we did the black car, which is putting the fuse block under the airbag cover. I mean, I kind of want to go with a different dash in this car and not the Grand Prix dash. So now that I'm sitting here thinking about it, we might not even do that. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Let's get all this crap ripped off of here, and then we'll try to get this thing in the car and figure out what the steering column is even going to look like. Definitely need to save these because they might come in handy later on, but it'll be a while until this thing has any sort of HVAC stuff, really. It's still heavy. Not near as bad though. Let's get there we go. So the other thing about this column that is also nice over that one is, if you look on the top of it where the green ring is, there's a plate right there. And that plate would bolt to the bottom of like the pedal support bracket. I don't think it went straight to the firewall. So it needed those 2 points of contact. The big T-shaped part where the bolts went through, and then the 2 at the front. And that is how that thing stayed stable, and it wouldn't be able to move up and down. But on the Mustang one, if you look, it's all right here, every last bit of it. You don't have to have the extra points down here because it's all on this bracket. So the reality of it is, this would actually work better by custom fabbing it in versus that. You can see just how much shorter the Grand Prix, or the Mustang's column is. It's all the way down here. I mean, I guess you could count the shaft where this actually goes onto. Right here is the end of it. Well, obviously that's the end of the Grand Prix. So I mean, this thing is significantly longer. We got to make sure that when you actually adjust the column, because I think this one, it actually slides in and out and up and down versus just being a tilt like the Grand Prix. So we want to make sure that when we put this in there, it's not at a point where if you adjust it, you want to make it so it's in the middle of the adjustment, so you can go down or you can go up from the middle position where you kind of want it to be. And then as far as the in and out, we're going to have to, I guess put it in the closest position forward that it can be to the dash, so that way you can just pull it out. instead of doing anything where you can push it in. Because if anything, if we have to move the seat back for the pedals, we're going to want to pull the column more towards us. We just plan it to where it sits pretty much in line with the bolt holes that are already there. So these have to be in line with these 2 bolt holes that are already on here. So if we put some sort of bracket or tab, that even if it's a little bit pliable, we'll put that on first, and then I'll be able to put the seat in here and actually figure out how it needs to go like this. And then once we get that position figured out, we'll make the brackets or whatever that's going to come up to get to these bolt holes. And then from there, that actually helps a lot because that steering shaft distance is a lot further than what I thought it was going to be. So what that means is that might have potential of working, but we're going to have to shorten it here and not in that, because on that shaft, whenever you have it out here, it's solid. It's got that slider in it. Now it's got to have the slider for the column to move in and out. But when you go so far, it gets all loose. So we're just gonna have to modify the shaft that comes from the rack itself to this instead of modifying this any. So you see these 2 bolt holes and these 2 here, these 2 studs that are coming out. That's where the big aluminum pedal bracket, the brake pedal bracket, would have bolted to on this dash bar. And then that column would have bolted to that. So essentially this is the center of the opening, you know, of our dash there, because this is where the steering column originally centered up to. So the back 2 holes of the Mustang column that are at that angle, they need to line up with these holes. So we got to go 5.5 inches from hole to hole as far as the center goes. And then the Grand Prix, they're like 5 3/4. It doesn't really matter, but we need to know that because we're gonna have to go 1/8 inch in on each side where our holes need to line up, basically. And then now we also have the adjustment that the Mustang would have. So that means that we've got the up and down, pivot like that, and then we also can go in and out. And where we're at is pretty much where we want it to be. So go all the way down. It doesn't get much better than that. I mean, is it straight? No, but I mean, our car's really perfectly straight. Right there. This feels pretty good to me. So we're just gonna put these on here because these are from something. I don't know what, but they can stick on something like that. I don't know. Either way, these two bins right here.
43S10.
Oh yeah. Oh, these are the pieces that go from the side of the block down to the bell housing. All right, yeah, but check it out. So these little bins that's already in that. If I just stick them on there with the holes and make them flat, what do you know? They're perfect.
Pizza boys got me messed up.
Yeah, simple as that. We're about to weld this thing on and have pretty much a completed deal. Speed's a little high. So we got the thing in there, and I'm pretty happy with it. I mean, it's rock solid. I mean, you can't move this thing at all. That little bit of flex that we're seeing right there, that's the whole dash bar. And I mean, it's taken a lot of force to do that. But overall, buttery smooth. We've got all of our adjustment as far as all the way up, all the way in, down, back out, and everything in between. And I mean, honestly, it's pretty good as far as the range goes. I mean, I think we got the thing at just the right angle. But I'm gonna worry about doing the steering shaft off camera. I don't really want to get into all that right now, and this should be a pretty simple thing. If it turns into anything complicated, I mean, we'll go over it in the next video, but I just got to get it connected. Like I said, I'm going to have to shorten that shaft that actually goes down to the steering rack, but that's not going to be that big of a deal. So this is going to work out just fine. Once I get this hooked up, we can get it up on the lift and start ripping it back apart. So we'll be able to do all the finalizing welds and try to get this thing closer to being done. So we're not far from it. Is that good? All right, well, since I couldn't help myself, we now have connected steering. So, turned out pretty good. You can hear it flopping around, but that's because I need to put some sort of carrier bearing in here. That's what this piece right here originally was. Probably not going to use that. I mean, we're going to have to figure something out. The only other thing about this is when I go all the way in on that steering column adjustment, I'm hitting that loose spot in that shaft that we originally looked at. Not a big deal because I'm going to have it out here most of the time, but probably something I'll eventually want to get fixed. I'm also going to need to go ahead and weld that steering shaft together where we pressed it together. So that'll do it. That's the end. I mean, I'm done with it for now.